we ready to have some cooking? It's Mama Muse here in the kitchen, ready to cook you some pasta sauce today. So, what you're gonna need today, you're gonna need some tomatoes, some onions, doesn't matter what color, also doesn't matter what kind of tomatoes you use, some garlic, a carrot, a bell pepper of some sort, and some spices for taste. Let's get started. So first off, take some tomatoes. What you want to do is get this nasty little core out of there. It's not great, you don't need it. Nobody wants to taste that. So we'll just go ahead and pop those off. My glasses! Now I can see. Get in there, do a nice rough chop. It doesn't have to be anything real fine. We're gonna end up blending it at the end. Or if you like a real chunky sauce, you can keep it that way too. You're gonna do that for all of the tomatoes. Now that we got all the tomatoes cut up, we're just gonna throw it into our pot here. And I see now this is gonna be way too small, so I'm gonna go get a bigger pot. Good. Take all your tomatoes, throw it in the pot. Listen to that. All right. Then with the tomatoes, we're gonna throw in some onion. Again, doesn't matter what color onion you use. If you use white, you got red. I had a yellow one, so we're gonna throw a yellow one in there. Same thing, cut it up real nice and rough. You don't have to make it real fine unless you like to have fine chunks. Since we're gonna blend it, we don't care. And if you're not making a mess in the kitchen, you're not cooking. Go ahead, kind of break it up a little bit. Don't pay attention to him. Sacrifice that. That's for the gods. That's the vegetarian. And then I'm going to clean off the board a little bit just because I don't want to have all these little onion shavings in there or paper onions. Okay, then after that, I'm going to do a bell pepper. I like to throw in some of that nice red kind of sweetness in there. I'm going to take off the top like this. I'm going to carve off the sides. Sometimes you get a little wonky shaped bell peppers, that don't matter. Get rid of the top, don't need that. Go in. More of a texture thing to get rid of the white. It's not going to be anything that's going to hurt you, kill you, be too spicy. It's just, I don't care for it, so I'm getting rid of it. Another rough chop. Go into the pot. Okay, and what we got left for chopping stuff is some garlic. Take it, got your bulb down there, put the knife on there. Yeah, that's supposed to happen. That's okay. Pull out the good cloves that you want out of there. This is for taste, so whatever amount of garlic you want, whether it's a lot, a little bit, or even if you don't want any garlic, throw that in. Just like with the bulbs, to get your garlic out of there, get your bulb, press it down, put the knife, slam it. Paper comes right off. And you get all this nice mashed up garlic. You can throw it in just as is. You can chop it up fine. I don't feel like chopping anymore, so I'm done chopping. If you find that the paper's not coming off real well, smash it harder. Get all your aggression out. See, that's a funny thing. You want that. You're not hurting the garlic. Garlic don't feel nothing. We're out here torturing garlic and we don't know. So sorry.
But you're delicious.
But you're too tasty, so it sucks to be you.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, clean off some of the paper. No one wants to eat that part of it anyway. Okay. Now you might see in some recipes that they'll throw in sugar for the sweetness of a tomato sauce, so it's not so bitey. I prefer to use a carrot, because when carrots get cooked, they tend to have their own sweetness, and that way you're not using as much sugar. Take off a little bit at the end, either side. Again, just chop it up however you want.
Look at those new skills.
Come back. And third in the pot. So what we all have in here together now, tomatoes, onions, carrots, and bell pepper. Now, we just need to season it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with some oil just to get it all nicely incorporated together. You can either use an extra virgin olive oil, regular olive oil, some other kind of oil, depends on what kind of taste you want. If you don't really want to taste the oil, I recommend like an avocado oil. I don't really taste any of that. But I don't mind the taste, so I'm gonna throw in some extra virgin olive oil and a little bit of the non-virgin kind. All of these seasonings I'm going to be using are to taste, so I'm not going to say half a teaspoon, quarter tablespoon. It's however much you want. So pepper now, freshly ground if you got it. If you don't, that's fine too. Pepper's pepper. You can use a different type. I'm just using a regular kind of black mix. Put some pepper in there now. We have some marjoram. Throw some in there. Remember, it's a big pot, and even if it looks like a lot of seasoning on top, go ahead and put in a little bit more than you might think, because it's a lot to season, because you don't want to just have tomato juice at the end, because that's just gross. We got some sage going in, just a little bit of that. We got some basil, fresh if you have it. My basil plants haven't grown enough yet, so dried it is. You can go ahead and do a lot of that and not be sad. Marjoram and sage, you'll probably do a little less of. Sage for sure, just a little bit of that. And then we have some oregano, just like the basil. You can put in a whole bunch and you won't be sad, I promise. That's kind of one of the main spices you get with a classical like pizza sauce, tomato sauce. And we have some salt. For good luck. And for dirtying the kitchen.
God, I'm
Slip
gonna.
on that later, it's fine. Now this is also very much optional. Some red pepper flakes.
Red paper flakes.
Red pepper flakes. That's for spice. If you want it, great. If you don't have to use it at all. I like to use just a little bit just to get kind of a taste of it, not necessarily get all that much spice. That way each person can spice it up more if they like. And that gives you your tomato sauce. All we're gonna do now, throw on a different lid, throw it on the stove, or you can do it for either 6 hours, something real long time at low heat, let it really cook down, or if you only got like an hour, crank up the heat, really let it boil down, and you'll get a nice sauce at the end. So I'll see you back once it gets all cooked. So for our sake of things, I'm gonna do it kind of in the middle. I don't wanna wait all day. Yeah, you can get that slow cooked taste, but I don't care today. And you always have to stir with a wooden spoon. It's scientifically proven to taste better. Probably. Gotta make sure everything gets all well incorporated, get all the seasoning on and everything. Put on the lid, walk away. Now in the meantime, while that pasta sauce is going, I'm going to show you how to make a vinaigrette to go with a salad or whatever kind of, you can even use it for a marinade on some chicken to go with your pasta. Whatever you want. That pasta sauce, use for whatever pasta that you want, whatever dish. As long as you want something red sauced, you can use that. And here, same thing. We're gonna give you a very generic kind of vinaigrette. You can use whatever you want. So, we're gonna start off with some lemons. I would say probably about half a lemon per dose per person. So if you're gonna do it for chicken, I would say probably half a lemon per piece of chicken, per tenderloin, shall we say. Just go ahead and squeeze that into your bowl here.
When life gives you lemons.
Okay, get the other lemon in there. You obviously do not want the seeds because you don't want to eat those. Just too hard. Not like a pumpkin seed. That's good. Once you have your vinaigrette, then you're gonna, once you have the lemons, you don't have the vinaigrette yet, then we're going to season it. We're going to use much of the same spices that we use for our pasta sauce, just with a couple extra added in. So again, we're gonna have some marjoram. Margie. Throw a little bit in there. And since you're gonna be using quite a bit of spices, you can use a little bit of all of them. You can use a lot of a couple things and leave some out. Like if you know that you don't like the taste of sage or of basil and such. You don't have to use them. I'm not forcing you to. I'm not going to come through the camera and you better use the basil. So we're going to add some basil. And I got a cut on my hand because the lemon juice is soaking in. I can feel it now. Don't lick your fingers and then start cooking. You have to go wash your hands according to health safety, but I'm not getting any money to cook for this, so I can do what I want. I'm in my home. Throw in some oregano. Time. What time is it? 12. Throw in some 12. Just a little 12. Not a lot. You don't want a 13. Don't put 13, just 12. Rosemary, which might seem weird. You might not really think that it works with Italian food, but if you ever have something that has herbes de Provence in it, it has some rosemary. I think it's nice. It adds a nice little floraliness to it. I wouldn't use a lot though, just because it can make the dressing very crunchy. Salt. Don't be afraid to use some salt since it is going to be mostly the lemon and vinaigrette oil, so it's going to need some salt to make it flavorful. Pepper flakes, again, if you wish. And some freshly ground pepper.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw! Okay, now here's kind of the fun part of making the vinaigrette. Take whatever oil. This time I'm going to use avocado because I don't really care for the taste of olive oil to be real strong in my vinaigrette, but if you do, use it. I'm going to start stirring in the spices and the lemon together, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to take my oil and slowly pour it in as it incorporates together. Now, depending on how sour of a vinaigrette you like, you might put in less oil, whereas if you don't like a lot of spice, you can put in more. Go ahead and just pour in some. Go ahead and taste it. Realize it tastes like lemonade, and go ahead and put in some more. Tastes too lemony. Now, if you're looking for more of like a salad dressing, I would recommend that you can put in like just a little bit of mayonnaise or something of that sort. That way it can kind of bind it together, makes it a little bit thicker and makes it less of this kind of separated yumminess. And I'm going to put in a little bit more oregano and basil just because it kind of needs it. If you don't get it right the first time, it's fine. You can always put in more spice. You can't always take it out. So if you're worried about putting in too much, start slow. I've been working in the kitchen all the live long day. I can't get outside the kitchen. Get a nice real zoom in of that vinaigrette. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, add in a little extra splooge. Ew. Doesn't look great. Mix it together. Just to incorporate it more so that the oil and vinegar being the lemon juice, are more mixed together. There, get it a little bit thicker. Everything out of the end, and it'll stay together more easily. Whoa! All right, camera lady, what do you think? Real lemony.
Oh, was she good?
She good?
Yeah, that's good.
Make it to taste. If you like it, you're done. If you don't like it, keep jacking with it. If you notice after a couple of tries, like I would say probably after 2 times of trying to change the spices, if it's not any good, it's not any good. Just get rid of it. Don't try and fix something that's totally broken. All right, let's go see what that pasta sauce looks like. Oh, listen to that sound. Now, at the temperature I'm going, this thing's probably going to take at least 2 hours. I've got it at medium heat. It's probably going to take a while. You will know that it's getting close to be done. If you're looking to blend it, You can do it a little bit earlier. You'll start to see the tomatoes break down and get to be, there's gonna be a lot of liquid in there. Right now it looks pretty chunky and dry. As it cooks down, they'll all get rid of their water. So then once it's there, take your blender, which I'll show you here in a moment, and it'll make it all smooth. If you want chunky sauce, leave it as is. As you keep stirring it and you cook it down longer, it'll get softer and softer, and you can just have big old chunks and have a nice sauce out of that. All right, now if we get closer, we're gonna see we have a boiling pot of tomato sauce. Don't be scared. Get closer. Get closer. Come see. Look at all this boiling, wonderful mess. Oh. This is a good thing. We want all this to be happening. It's cooking down. Cook it. Keep it going. All right. So we'll check on the sauce again. It's been about an hour and a half. So we're getting pretty close to the 2-hour mark we wanted. Look at that. Look at that. So it's getting pretty close. After a couple more minutes, I'm gonna blend it up and then we'll have our sauce. We'll be all done-a-reno. All right, so it's been about 2 hours. One last checkaroo. Throw all that water in there. Looks pretty nice. It looks good to me. So I'm gonna do is take my 1,400,000 horsepower immersion blender. And we're just gonna blend it up. This will take a minute. You can blend it as far as you want. You can make it real smooth. You can leave it as chunky as you want. It's whatever you want. Now, yes, it's not very red. Actual tomato sauce is not red. Get over it. Jarred stuff usually has color in it to make it red. So that's how you know it's real. And for tonight, I'm probably gonna make some kind of meatball, not spaghetti, meatball pasta thing with this sauce. And with that, we're all done. Thanks for coming to Mama Muse's kitchen. Have a good one now.